Hi, welcome to the Whitey White Guy Show. I'm Whitey, and I'm waiting to go to work. I showed up way early for no freaking reason whatsoever, so I'm just going to do a video on this. I'm just going to rant. I've been, for no reason, watching WNBA lowlights. There's not a lot by way of highlights. I know I'm kicking a dead horse here, but the WNBA, I've never paid attention to it. It's been around for over 20 years. And there's been some controversy around it, and not really recently, but last so many months and years. You know, they're not turning a profit. There was a big deal a couple years back, or whatever it was, about, you know, when soccer players, soccer players get paid the same as men, and WNBA, their players are just as good as the NBA. So I've been watching some full games and watching some clips. And the WNBA is a joke. It is bad. I was watching, it was Chicago versus Houston, and I believe it was last year's final series for the championship. So these aren't the subs on some random team. These are the starters on the best two teams they got. And it's embarrassing. It is embarrassingly bad. I don't know what's going on, because when the league first started, you know, girls don't tend to play basketball as much as boys. I never played basketball in school. I just played hoops on courts wherever I could. I'm 5'9", I have more of a wrestler's frame, so I was a wrestler in high school. So I didn't play basketball. But, you know, I couldn't even tell you all the finer points of the sport. I played street ball. But street ballers could go in there and dominate. Like boys' high school basketball teams, you could go across the country and just pluck a random high school boys team. They would win championship after championship. And so when you go back to when the sport first started, yeah, give them a few years, because, you know, there's not a lot of not as much experience there, and it's very rare. When you're playing street ball, there's very rarely you see girls out there playing with the boys. So give them some time, let them learn the craft a little bit. Well, 20 years later, it's like they just started this week, and there's this big difference when you watch the NBA, and one side scores a basket, so the other side, you know, they check the ball in. The dudes like gradually walk down the court a little bit, or at a, you know, light trot, and then they get around the top of the key, and the point guard starts setting up the play. You know, they take their time with it a little bit, and then the action kicks up, and you go, you know, somebody comes darting across the court, and you get a pass and try to open the guy up for whatever you're trying to do, pick and roll, whatever you're at. With the WNBA, they look like a bunch of middle schoolers, and that might be insulting to some middle schoolers. But every time they get their hands on the ball, it's like it's the first time that's ever happened. It's like a little kid, and you're out there shooting around, and, you know, you got 4-on-4, but you need an eighth guy. So you let the 12-year-old play, or the 14-year-old play, whatever, not even 14. And you pass them the ball, and they, oh my gosh, and they just, you know, flail it up there like they've never handled the ball before. They never got this opportunity. Wow, it's so great. I get to shoot a ball. I'm not even going to think of passing or nothing, or tactics and strategy. It's just flail. It's just like, oh my God. And then they run down the court, flail up an air ball, and then they run down. It's like, guys, take your time. Like, it's not, they're like a bunch of virgins who've never been there before, and they finally get to talk to a girl or something, and they're idiots about it. But it's been going on. These are the girls in the game I was watching. Again, it was the championship series. These are the creme de la creme of the sport. And their form is awful. And it's universal. You had that Brittany Griner. Every once in a while, she'd do a little something that's like, okay, that looked like something. But then she would do. There was this. I want to say it was Houston. I could be wrong on that. There's this one white girl. Maybe she got some Hispanic in her or something, and she's like big. You know, she's a big girl, and she's at the top of the key all the time. I'm like, why aren't you down under the basket? Why aren't you, powering up? And then, so she'd be shooting from the top of the key and not having a good go of things. And it's just like, let the oh my God, let the point guard do all the running around. Play. I don't imagine she was the center, so it's like, what are you doing at the top of the key all the time? So I imagine, like, you can't go up to these girls and be like, let me explain how the sport works to you, because they'll get offended. Like, oh, are you mansplaining me? It's like, dude, they're not being coached properly. And again, this was the championship series. But from what I could tell, they're not using their legs. When they go to take a shot, they go shoot a three, they're not using their legs to generate power. They're using their lower back and their arms. You bring your power from your legs. Your midsection stabilizes, and then your arms are for accuracy. You got a little thrust. I'm feeling my tricep as I do this. But mostly you're using your arms for control. And your wrists and hands, of course, are for control. They're trying to get power from their lower back and their arms. And that neutralizes out the control. So they're airballing all over the place. And some horrible shooting. And once in a while, somebody will nail a shot and be like, hey, that was pretty good. But layups, like the things that are a given, they're just flailing. They're just whipping the ball up there. It's like a little kid. It's embarrassing. It's genuinely embarrassing. And so one thing they do well typically is ball movement. In a sense, they move the ball around. But again, when they go to pass, they're just chucking it. And it ends up in the crowd. Or overshooting somebody on a consistent basis. Now in the NBA or anywhere else, that happens. Every once in a while, dude, airball a shot, and you'll be like, what a maroon. Oh my God. And somebody will throw a ball, a miscommunication. You were going left, he threw right. Every now and again. It's consistent in the WNBA. Happens on a regular basis. It's hard to watch. And so it's like, why don't they make as much money as the men? Because they're not even like high school level talent. They're not even street ball talent. I'd love to see Tristan and the professor go out there and just dominate these ladies. Dominate. It's hard to. It's literally hard to watch. It's painful. And I managed to, get through a full game. And then somebody will catch an elbow, or something in the face and land the ground for 10 minutes. It's just like, I know you ain't men, but man up. You're professional athletes. Act like it. And so that's all fair and good. That's not a big deal. Until they come out and say, women are just as good as men at this, and you have to agree with it or you're a bigot. Well, then I'm a bigot, because I don't agree with that. Not based on the product on the court. If you have not seen, don't bother with it unless you like train crashes or something. You like to see car crashes. If that's you, go watch the WNBA. You want to see a complete mess unfold in front of you. It's the sport for you. But if you want to see skilled people, and it's a little bit better, a little bit worse. So there's somebody on Chicago named Vandersloot, and she's got some moves. But every now and again she'll airball it, and it'll just be like, it's not society oppressing you. You have poor form. You have poor technique. Your legs. Use your legs, and none of them got hops. I'm an old white guy. I'm a 40-year-old Irish-American white dude with a gut. I don't know if you can look at that. Oh, it looks like I'm pregnant. I got more hops. And I ain't got hops. And I got more hops than these people. I got bone spurs in both knees. My back hurts right now. I'm going into a physical. I could get off a shift. I could get off a shift of being on my feet all day. Or for 8 hours anyway. And have more hops. Like, these are 20-something-year-old professional athletes. This is their whole... Unless the money's that bad that they got full-time jobs afterwards, which still wouldn't explain it. It still wouldn't... You should still have a decent jump shot. You're a professional athlete. You can't put together... That's the one thing all us old white dudes got. It's a decent jump shot. My whole life, everybody's like, well, you got a decent jump shot. I got no hops. When I was in my teens and 20s, I had some quick. I wasn't fast. I had a quick first step. I could do some mistricks, do some crossover. There's no capacity in this league for attacking the lane. There's nothing. When they're at the top of the key, you'll see some crossovers and stuff. But once they go charging in and try to get that layup, it goes bananas. It's off the hook. Like, all motor skills and control are gone. And they're just flailing something up there. So, should women be denied to play basketball because they're women? Absolutely not. But should I have to be told that they're just as good as the guys, and if I don't agree, I'm an asshole? Then I'm an asshole. Because, god damn, it's harsh. So, I wish them the best. But somebody needs to actually find some free holies down there. And beans. I just said beans. Find some beans. What is the word? Find your balls, your testicles. And even if you don't got them. And coach. There's no reason after 20-something years it's this bad. And I've seen highlights from girls' basketball games. I've seen highlights from, women just doing pickup. There's some girls out there that can play a lot better than the girls. What's the recruiting process? But that's part of the problem, is, a lot of women who got some skills or the capacity to develop those skills aren't interested in doing it professional. They got other careers. They went to college and they went to go do something else. I don't know. I don't know. I would never expect the girls to be anywhere near the guys. Because they just no, especially at the pro level. But there's no reason why it's this bad. There's no reason. You practice every day, don't you? Right? Because it doesn't look like they practice. How do you do this for a living and not have the basics? Just basic how to shoot a basket. I don't get it. So I could go on, but I got a shift to go to. Whitey White Guy Show. Let me know what you think in the comments section or something. Cheers.